Hi, welcome back to another TerranScapes video. Today I have two new releases that I wanted to give you a chance to see. These new releases were based on some customer requests that I've recently had, which is the way most things are developed. Don't mind if you hear kittens scurrying underneath. You know, that's always very rewarding for me to have customers who maybe have already purchased terrain or are trying to match some of their existing terrain, and they'd like me to build something specific for them that we can add to that. So today I've got two different ones: a desert tree stand to go with the recent tan desert modular board set that I produced, and also some Hedgerow Endcaps, and those are adding to the Hedgerow terrain piece line that I have produced quite a while back, actually, so it's kind of nice to get a chance to revisit them and take a look at them in a little bit closer detail. So let's take a look at these up close. So here you can see the desert tree stand up close. Desert tree stands typically are going to have between either 6 or 8 trees. This was supposed to be an 8-tree stand. It ended up with 7. The other stand was supposed to be 6 and ended up with 7. So same net number of trees for the customer, just a little bit differently distributed. The trees are the same armatures that I use for the regular deciduous trees. These are produced by Woodland Scenics, and they really afford a nice opportunity for shaping the trees in some unique ways. They've been painted with a little bit of light-colored weathering powder on them to really give them that dead, aged look, something from the desert. I took a look at a couple pictures of trees in a desert somewhere in Africa. I'll post a link or a picture-in-picture in this video. And, really tried to capture some of that old weathered look in these. Of course, these feature some of the new vegetation that I've been doing for the desert scenes. The sort of sisal grasses, the other, lots of short scrubby grasses on them, and really very sparse amount of clump foliage. Of course, this is designed to match explicitly the other modular board set that I produced. But, of course, this could be finished in any different kind of color scheme for the basic sand color. So this could be adapted to go with the Martian board set, for instance, or even really the verdant board set if you wanted, say, a ghost wood, playing specific types of woods in Warhammer, or a really thematic board like a Vampire Counts board. This could always be changed and flocked in a variety of ways, so don't let the color restrict you from imagining how this might fit into your terrain. And here you can see a close-up of the end caps. The end caps for the hedgerows are the 10 centimeter long pieces, which have been modified and tapered so that they come down to a gradual slope, so they can flock it all the way down and give vegetation all the way to those end points, and it gives a nice transition to the regular playing surface rather than having just the end of the hedgerow sticking out like that. It's kind of odd to me that I actually hadn't done these much sooner than this, but it's nice to finally get them into the set so that people can really build hedgerows to their liking. Each of the hedgerow pieces feature, quite a tall vegetation. This is all put in piece by piece, hot glue, so it's really strong. It's not going to flake off in use. It does tend to get a little bit compressed from shipping when I wrap it, so I always try to overbuild it so that even when it comes out of the bubble wrap, you're still going to have a substantial hedgerow piece. The hedgerows historically were rather large, based on farmland borders with lots of rocks that were accumulated in the center and then overgrown later by vegetation, making them almost impenetrable to troops during World War II, and they had to make special kinds of tank attachments to be able to burst through them. Let's get rid of some of that. It doesn't mean they won't shed just a couple pieces from time to time. To take a look at the, to scale, these are 15mm Flames of War miniatures, and the Flames of War miniatures, obviously are, dwarfed behind the tops of these hedgerows. Of course, there are hedgerow pieces that have trees that you can get to make it even more realistic, as trees often grew in the hedgerows. But even without the trees, this is something that, figures are going to be able to hide behind entirely, including vehicles, really. The other thing to mention, though, is, of course, with 28mm models, you also get substantial coverage from them. Let's see if I can lower that a little bit so you can get a sense of that. So these really scale well to a variety of sizes of miniatures. Just really depends on the kind of effect that you're looking for. And here, just to give you a sense, don't mind the umbrella, here to give you a sense of them with some of the other pieces. Here's a T section for the hedgerows. And I usually build the edges so that they're really, really dense right at the union, so you're not going to see that in the foliage. And then, of course, end caps can be added. So it really provides you with a nice way to sort of cap off hedgerows and give you, a little more flexibility in their layout. And, just to stress, one of the things that I do is I really use a wide variety of vegetation on each piece. There's probably anywhere from 6 to 9 different kinds of vegetation on each piece to try to reflect a really diverse biome. When you look at natural areas of vegetation, it's not dominated by 1 or 2 or even 4 different kinds of plants, but usually there's quite a variety of smaller plants filling in small niches in between, and I try to always represent that whenever I do, pieces like this. So that gives you just a little chance to, take a look at a couple of the new pieces up close. Of course, I forgot to mention when I was showcasing the trees up close is that all the trees are removable to make it easier for play. One of the nice things about these stands is that these bases are, short enough that it's easy to make to have movement trays sit on top of them. And I've scaled all the vegetation in the tree stands as well to be durable enough that, movement trays and troops pressed on them isn't going to distort that and still going to allow for easy movement through the woods. It's something I always try to take into account when I'm building area terrain, is that, it not hinder gameplay because it has to be both attractive and functional. So hopefully this kind of melds those two things to a high degree. If you want to ever take a look at any of the photos of these, I'm going to have a link down below in the comments for this, in the description of this video, so you can follow those links to see some up-close photos of these. And you can always go to TerranScapes.com and see all the other pieces that I produce and custom projects that I've worked on in the past. And also contact information if you want to get a hold of me. Feel free to leave comments down below and questions. I'm happy to answer those. And keep your eye on the channel. I'll have another video up real soon with a next video will be a revisit of the Styroplastus. I've made some progress on the mountain that I had showcased in another video just 1 or 2 back from this. And I'd like to show you that in progress and talk about some of the things I've learned about Styroplast since then. So keep your eye on the channel. I'll be back.